Here I am again with my dear friend Alex from Scale Swimming. This dude. Today we have again an episode of Let's Talk Swimming. Topics which I picked out were from questions and comments which I got in my socials, like on Instagram and YouTube, and I took the most common questions out again, and so we try to answer those if that is okay for you. And to dig right into it, breathing pattern. I know we had it several times, and I guess we just repeat ourselves, but we want to do it. Maybe we say it every now and then a bit differently, so it can make sense to more people the next time we put it out. Breathing pattern. What is the right breathing pattern?
There is no right breathing pattern. It's all personal, and really it depends on the distance that you're swimming, right? I would say if you're sprinting, a fast 50 freestyle front crawl, then you're hardly going to breathe. Maybe breathe once. Some people don't breathe at all. If you're swimming a long distance, full distance Ironman or something like that, then you're going to have to breathe because you're not going to be able to hold your breath for that long. So then it's up to you how you breathe and what side you breathe. We'll go into that in a minute, but what are you saying?
I say the same thing. First of all, the breathing is not defining the whole technique and the movement of the body. The breathing is fit into the technique, not the other way around. So we're not building the swimming technique around the breathing. We are actually fitting the breathing into the technique as such, the arm movement and the kicks. This brings me to the next thing, or to actually gives the basis of the reasoning. Ergo, this means that no matter which breathing pattern you have, you need to be equal on both sides. So if you you have body rotation to 90 degrees on both sides, and you can hold it with two like bilateral breathing pattern every fourth or every second time, that is all great. But then you need to do what is best for yourself. So in the end,
some people, Marcus, I'm going to jump in. Some people won't know what bilateral breathing is. What is that?
Bilateral breathing will be every third time. So every third stroke you will breathe. Not stroke cycle, it's every third stroke you will breathe. So it's really breathe, 1, 2, 3, breathe. So we have that. So it's really just that. And that is the most common stroke or the most common breathing pattern which is taught back in days, because also it gives some symmetry. But in the end, the older you get, or the more advanced you get, you will realize what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Because for me, for example, is when I swim long distance, especially then, and I need to have a certain pace, I will always be in a competition on a two-stroke breathing pattern. So I breathe every second time to the right. That means also that my rotation is equal on the other side, but I don't breathe. And as long as this is happening, I can do the breathing pattern whichever I want.
Yeah,
this is for me.
Good. And so I'll pick up on some of the things that you said. And I see it quite a lot with beginner swimmers or triathletes that are new into swimming. They will focus too much on their breathing pattern. They will use that to determine their stroke, which is not right. As you say, the breathing fits into the efficiency of the swimming stroke. The other thing is that people really do focus too much on trying to hold and maintain a bilateral breathing pattern, and it really doesn't matter. You're not going to go around in circles if you only breathe one side. So, for example, if I'm swimming in a 100 front crawl race, I would change my breathing pattern throughout that race, even if I'm doing a 200. So I might start by breathing every 4 or something like that, but as the race goes on, as I go into oxygen debt, I need more oxygen into my body, keep the cadence up, keep the speed up, then I will slip into a two-stroke breathing pattern. Is that similar to what you would do?
Exactly. I mean, not breathing at all is in physics, pure physics, not breathing at all is the most efficient breathing pattern there is. Might work for 25, 50 meter, or in Olympic distances in 50 meter, it works. But then to find a common ground, usually they said it is bilateral breathing, so breathing every third time to have a symmetry in it. But again, what does it help you to be symmetric because of the breathing if you are not comfortable with it, and so what is the saved energy or a saved time help you if you're not comfortable and if you slow down because you don't have enough oxygen. So in the end, it kind of is a trade-off. You need to go and do what is and not everybody is the same, right? Some like breathing every third time, some like every fifth time, some every fourth time. As long as you train, as long as in training you can train all of the breathing patterns there are, and it is a good exercise to every now and then also to try to breathe every fifth time or every ninth time or every third time. In training, that makes sense to learn that, to have some sort of the balance in it as a drill in the end. But when it comes to racing and for the main sets, do the breathing pattern which is most comfortable to yourself or to your body and physique.
Yeah, everybody's going to have a dominant side or a preferred side that they breathe. So stick with that. We quite often use breathing patterns in training just to mix things up, make people think about it. It helps them regulate a whole manner of things. It helps them focus on thinking about keeping their stroke symmetrical as well. A whole range of benefits, but the take-home point is that breathing patterns is dependent on how far you swim in, what kind of effort you're exerting, and what kind of distance or what kind of event you're doing as well. So
breathing pattern is not there is no correct answer to it. Everyone needs to choose it for himself. The only thing which we know, and I think we should pin that down, everything we should know is do the breathing pattern which is most comfortable to you, or try to be as equal as possible on both sides with your stroke and rotation. As long as this is a given, you can breathe every second time, every third, every fourth, whatever breathing pattern. It needs to be comfortable to you. I guess that's the other thing, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, just to finish that, there's a trade-off, right? If you breathe in, you move in the water, you're creating more resistance. Mm-hmm. So as you said earlier, the most efficient way through the water is not breathing, but you're going to go into oxygen debt if you don't take any oxygen into those lungs to feed your muscles and be able to swim fast. So you need to breathe. And then it's working out on how often you breathe, when you breathe, what side you breathe, and it's all of those things that we've talked about today will determine the answers to those questions.
Exactly. And with that, we close that topic. On to the next one.